I think we can all agree that year 2024 is the year of all layoff. Yeah, did you hear that? This guy's like, I was in it, filmed the car crash. So there you go. I'll show it to you guys before we even start the video. There we go. Some car crash. Whenever I come to Lone Mountain, there's always something going on. Always something going on. Hope everybody's all right. But this is not what this video about. The video is about how 2024 is the year of all layoffs. And now I'm asking you, is the year 2025 going to be the year of all hiring where we're going to go back to hire people? That's going to be determined on a few factors because I've read articles like this that are saying that we're going to see hiring coming up here. And I would love to believe that all this negativity with layoffs and people not having jobs and filing for unemployment is going to be done next year. We're going to see a little bit lower interest rates and we're going to back to normality. So now the question is, what year do we want to go back to? Because if you remember, after 2008, 2009, it was a few years of hard job markets, right? And now I'm asking myself, where are we going to go back? Because I feel like to 2010 to like 2016, 17 was like the years of where you had to compete for a job, but it was easier than it was before that. And I'm asking you guys, do you agree or no? And let me hear you guys' opinion because it might have been different across the country depending on where you're at and what you did. And so then in like 16, 17, it all started to pick up. People were having jobs, people were given jobs, and there was so much stuff going on that you could gotten a job easily till about 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, there were so many firings going on and so many companies that were doing layoffs. It's not even funny. It's like they overstaffed, they overhired. And now what I'm thinking is there must have been life cycles, right? Industry goes through like life cycles, right? Coal industry did it and renewable energy and all these stages, even the tech industry, right? All these companies go through life cycles. They go through different phases of development. And when I'm looking at where we're at today, it is really, really hard to predict where we're going to end up in a few years from now, because one of these hard determining factors is interest rates. And companies are saying, oh, we're expecting it to be in the threes, and that's going to be pretty decent for us. And then we can still continue operating and do all our, low cost borrowing, and we can still continue growing. But in the fives, it's really, really hard. And we see that with car payments. We see that with a whole bunch of credit cards, mortgages. It's really difficult for people to get loans. And now, when I'm looking as a investor and as a real estate investor, I'm like, it is not a good time to invest into real estate with high cap rates, high mortgage rates, because I'm sitting on low mortgage rates, and all these people around here are probably all sitting on low mortgage rates, so they're not going to let their house go for premium dollars. And people that have low interest rate cars are going to think twice about giving up that car, trading it up for a new one, unless it's a lease, and saying, hey, should I really get a new car and give up my 2.5, 9% interest that I've actually gotten in 2016? My first Mustang that I financed, and it was 2.99%. And I was like, ooh, at CarMax even. And then I was like, these are low interest rates. And if you have an interest rate like that, you are not going to refinance or get a new car and pay double or triple the interest just because of it. It just doesn't make financial sense. And now I'm just wondering, is this going to be the year of hiring 2025? And I asked AI, and AI couldn't say, like, there's so many factors that go into all of this that it could say yes, and it still thinks that the job market is strong. And I was like, don't agree with that too much. But in historical senses, we're still in a strong job market, right? When you look at all-time highs, all-time lows, we're pretty right there in the middle. And I think they fudged the numbers now. I truly, truly believe that now is not the same time as it was in 2008, where everything was reported right, because now we're close to an election and they're starting to come up with election and campaign money, and they need to make sure that the right president gets elected. and all these crazy things that run into politics with Zuckerberg, where he was like in Congress the other day saying that Facebook pressured him to censor news. And so I'm wondering, how much are they really censoring us? Because when I look around, I see all shambles. When I'm looking around, I'm seeing all shambles. Everybody's struggling. I do not know one person that is actually doing way better than they did a few years ago. And I know I'm keep talking about and I'm saying we have a lot of room, we have a lot of space to a lot of runway left, Americans, because we're very resilient with credit cards that we can put on. And I don't think Europeans or Swiss people could do that because they don't have credit cards that they can just take out another credit card and then live off of that for a few months till they get a job and then pay it all back. Or try to, or file for bankruptcy and all these other situations that you can do as an American. So that brings me to the point of, where is the jobs going to come from? I know that Tesla had 680 hire, so they're rehired 680 people. And as I know Tesla and Elon Musk, he is not going to pay top dollar for these people. He's going to say, you're lucky to come back. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a job cut. You're going to take a job pay cut. You're going to get a title increase, and we're going to give you more responsibility. You're going to work longer, and we're going to give you a pay cut. Just because nobody is hiring, and when you're the only one hiring in town, then you kind of dictate the rate. And when you dictate the rate, you make the conditions, and you say what's the norm and not. And I've seen a lot of you guys in the comments said, in 2008, people were saying they're lucky to have a job. And I feel like it's coming down to this, because I don't see that 2025, if interest rates aren't going to be in the low threes, it's going to be the year where we're seeing tremendous growth, unless the United States thinks we need to go to war, and then the war economy just going to, the war economy is just going to start picking up, and we will then give people jobs, like going to war somewhere, and give jobs to the industry, to the, what you call that, the arms industry and all these other industries that are related to manufacturing arms. And that is actually pretty sad, but it is just the name of the game, right? And unless we have a situation like that where the Fed is going to lower interest rates, I don't see anything happening. Because why would anything really happen to us if these companies found out that, hey, if we run lean right now, and this is what this article was talking about, why would they change anything? If you can run your company super lean and not worry about having been overstaffed, why would you go back to being overstaffed? That just doesn't make any sense, right? So when you're, I would say, a little bit understaffed, then everybody at the company is fearing for their job because they might be next. So you gotta be very, very cautious of your job and your position. So that brings me to another point. Once we figured out that, hey, our job is not that secure, and then you're going to go a little bit more above and beyond because you're going to be worried that you're going to be let go. I'd be worried, and so would you. And if you're saying, oh, they could fire me and let me go, then you need your house paid off, you need a car paid off, and a nice little piggy bank that you could live off of and not worry about it. And if you got that, congratulations. This is absolutely amazing. And then you can actually do that. But me in my early 30s, I can't do that. I'm 32. I got real estate that costs money. I got, construction that's coming up that's going to cost money. I got all these other projects that cost money. And I cannot say, if a client of mine says, hey, what are you going to, you need to go beyond a little bit more, or I'm going to drop you. Then you got to figure out, is it worth to keep that client and replace him? Or is it just that I got to deal with it and just deal with the consequences? Because nowadays people are very, very hesitant to pick up their credit card and pay for anything. I've seen contractors not getting paid. I'm seeing so many people just not paying their bills. And when you read the articles, and I don't know how true that is, but they're saying that 30% of Americans aren't paying their utilities and their bills. So when you're thinking about that, that means if you have 10 friends, 3 of them are not paying their bills. So not good. And that will then rub off on the business owner because you got to make it up somewhere. So you have to make that up on other paying clients, right? And that kind of rolls into this whole ball of interest rates, because low interest rates sure stimulate the economies. And now what I've also noticed is I haven't seen that sophisticated job scams as I'm seeing now. Now they're so sneaky and sophisticated. They're preying upon these people, because there's been people that have messaged me and they've said, I haven't been job searching for 25 years. And now this is my first time back in the job market. Is this legit? So they asked me, truly, is this a legit job posting? And it's so hard to tell on the first glance. After the first, interaction, you can kind of tell if they BS you around or whatnot. But there has been such amazing scams that I'm like mind blown what happens. And so listen to this. There was somebody that recruited somebody that I know at Apple. And the only way I found out that this was a scam, that I knew somebody else at Apple and said, hey, is this job listing right? Is this the hiring manager? And they said, no, this person doesn't work at Apple. But they had everything fully legit on LinkedIn to hire for that position at Apple. And I was like, where's the scam? So I haven't figured out where the scam was, because then we were like, nope, that's not right. But there has to be a scam at some point where they say, hey, buy your own computer, buy your own laptop, and we'll send it to you. Or give me your credit card info and we're going to charge or do something. But you got to be super, super cautious of what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing and how you present yourself and what kind of information you give out. So it's always best to apply at the company directly on their website rather than just handing somebody your resume, cell phone number, and all these other crucial information, right? And I am just amazed on how these scams just kind of get better and better and better, and you got to keep looking more closely, and especially for these people that aren't in the industry, right? And this all results into high interest rate, because if we're going to get into an environment where interest rates are a little bit lower than they are now, that means that we can further innovation, further growth, and give people jobs back. If companies haven't realized that, hey, all my team was remote, so why don't I just outsource everything? And then in 6 years, I saw a video the other day that said in 6 years there's going to be no new jobs, because why would you when you can outsource everything? And then you just have C-suite executives in the United States, and the teams are global now. And they can just, and you can actually, somebody in my comments said you can actually force these teams abroad to work your hours. So they can actually work from 9 to 5 East Coast time, and they start work at like 10 o'clock at night, depending on where they at, to 5, 6 in the morning. So you as an executive don't have to wake up 2 hours earlier because you're the one paying. And this is all nice, but it's really hurting Americans. And this is where some people say, oh, you're for profits. You're for corporations' profit. Yes, but not when it comes to an expense of all these Americans. So is hiring gonna pick back up in 2025? I really hope so, but I'm no fortune teller. And this article said we're gonna see hiring coming back in. I had to pause real quick here and let's go through this article to see exactly what it says so we don't misinterpret any of it. Okay, it says 52% of companies are hiring for new jobs in the fall and winter. Here are the most in-demand roles. So here we go. So this is by CNBC Make It, right? Okay, finding a skill, blah, blah, blah. Then they, talk about ZipRecruiter. Unemployment rate is kind of higher. Companies are worried about blah, 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 blah. All this stuff, right? New York. Here we go. Survey in June, Robert Half served more than 2,500 hiring managers at companies with 20 or more employees. In the U.S., more than half, 52% of companies said they're planning to hire for new permanent positions in the second half of the year, and another 43% plan to fill vacancies. So some of these vacancies that they've had, they didn't even staff yet because they just didn't have the need to it.
And here we go. This is really important. Companies have been running pretty lean for the most of the year and are finally reaching the point where their staff is feeling overworked or in some cases struggle with burnout. They're looking to recruit people in strategic positions to support their critical business needs. Right. So they on purpose left it unstacked so they can make more money and have higher profits so they can report better earnings, right? Where the biggest demand for talent is. Okay, if we're looking for a new job, planning to start the search soon, you might want to consider opportunity in healthcare or government. So this is absolutely crucial that healthcare or government are talking about. On ZipRecruiter, the roles have been the most consistent demand in the recent month, right? Blah blah blah. In addition to healthcare and government, business and professional service, which includes as consultants, accountants, and project managers, have also been leading the charge on hiring this summer. Okay, so now the question is, summer is considered when? Right? When is summer going to stop and when is fall going to start? With these high demand talents, okay. And then how to stand out, then it's kind of going over what I keep telling you guys. And this is basically what this article says. So let me talk about it on my walk. So you guys got informed and saw the article.
Winter and fall, but I don't think winter and fall is early enough to see a lot of hiring. So they said it's going to be healthcare jobs and program management jobs and government. Those are the three that are going to be hiring. And that is actually very scary because when you're looking at who's hiring, it's the government and healthcare. That is not good when only these two entities are hiring, because you should have tech, you should have manufacturing hiring, you should have all these other companies hiring, but it is just not happening at the moment. So patience is a virtue, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But I'm pretty confident that everything comes in cycles, and that is going to happen, and I will let you know when I see that transition. And you guys are going to be on the forefront if you like and subscribe. And I'm curious to hear what you guys are going to say about all this stuff. And tomorrow, I'm going to release a new series where I'm going to commentate on some short form video formats, because those are going to be very, very interesting, and my takes on them, because a few people ask me, hey, what do you think about this? So I am going to actually commentate and give my 2 cents on it and see if this is well liked or not. So stay tuned. Got all this good stuff coming, and we are back to Lone Mountain Park. This is sure a journey, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys that is following me, subscribing, and watching all my videos. And if you have a question or you have an issue with a job or anything, you can always write me an email. It's in the about section of my profile, and you can then just shoot me an email and ask me a random question, or you could connect with me on LinkedIn. And we're back to the accident, but it's soon into my face. So it is always crazy when you come here at nighttime. There's always something going on. Last time there was a cop showing up and people were panhandling, doing something. Cops came, did some arrests. This time with the car accidents. There is always something going on in this area of Las Vegas. So if you want, send me a video that I should commentate on from TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and I will make that happen. And I will see you guys in the next one.